This was my old fermentation table. And this is my new fermentation table. If you'd like to know my thoughts behind the building process and watch as I build it, then keep watching. So this is my workbench that I built by myself, no plans, just about almost 20 years ago. When my wife and I first started dating and we got our first apartment, that was probably 2003. So we're going on 19 years ago. I'm sorry about that. 19 years ago. My bad. Anyway, this was just a one-off weekend project. I didn't have any plans, and I just kind of threw it together, and there you are. And it's held up nicely over all of these years. And so I figured I could kind of use my experience building this workbench to build something shorter, both lengthwise and to the ground-wise, to replace this plastic fermentation bench. And you would know it. That's the beauty of the lumber industry. So this is exactly 24 by 72. And we can cut that in half. It'll be 24 by 36, right? So I'm pretty happy about that. 24. I don't know. I got my, I'm trying to do this one-handed with a camera and shit. 24 by 72, right? And my plastic one is 24 by 36. Perfect. And my plastic one can actually fit 2 fermenters with enough room to kind of coexist nicely. So I figured, why not potentially be able to duplicate a smaller bench and replace this as well? So right now I'm going to get enough lumber to make one. I'm going to get probably this same top, the same sheet of wood for the top. I'll rip it right down the middle. That way I'll have one half for the fermenter. I'll be able to use the other half in the near future for the brew kettle bench. So that's really my plan. I'll show you my little blueprints that I've pulled up. So if I go over it with you, current is plastic, 24 by 36. My projected wooden one, I want 24 by 36. I'm also going to run an additional support right down the middle. Like I wrote down here, overbuilding is better in this situation. I don't want any sort of bowing. I don't want any sort of potential malfunctions or whatnot with 100 pounds of potential wart up there. I don't think there's going to be any problem with the wood compared to the plastic over there, but you just never know. I mean, I'm building it from scratch. Why not throw an extra one in there? So I said the current table bench is 24 inches tall. Oh yeah, the plastic one is 2 foot tall, and I like that height. It's a good working height. I think it's just perfect. So I'm gonna get, instead of these regular 2x4 legs, I'm gonna get the 4x4 big square legs. And I believe they come 4x4, 4 inches or 4 foot tall. So I'm gonna have them cut that right in half, right at Lowe's for me. That way I don't have to do any crazy cuts on that big piece of wood and it's ready to use. And then I do believe I'm going to put some casters on it. Yes, casters times 4. I believe that's going to allow me to do a little bit easier mobility. If something leaks or if I need to clean, boom, just unlock the casters and move it. Oh, and then stabilization. You can kind of see here I have a shelf on the bottom that's supported underneath for some overall lateral stability and whatnot. I'm wondering if, because of the height, I'm wondering if I even need a stabilization. I'm going to plan on doing all 4, maybe about halfway between the top and the ground. But what I really do think I'm going to do is I'm going to leave the front of it open, and I'm just going to do the sides, the back, and then the other side. That way, if I wanted to ever either use it for storage, great. But if I ever wanted to punch a center hole in the top of this and use it as like a drain, I could leave a bucket underneath there with the waterproof. And if I ever had a leak, I could just kind of sponge it into the middle drain and drain it right into a bucket if I ever wanted to. There are some other things that I've been thinking about doing as well on the new build. You can see how nicely like these holes right here just work out nicely for, you know, leaving your tools there, leaving your spray bucket here. I've got a rubber mallet that I like to encourage the dry hops to float up with. Stuff like that. So I really like that sort of functionality with this sort of plastic hole system here. So I'm thinking about potentially building in a rack on the front of the new wooden one, very similar to this little rack that I built for my tools, like a little triangle support piece, and then drilling some holes in the top of it so that I could put, you know, my vice grips in there. I can put the fermenter bottle here. And then even if I were to reimagine the blow-off valve down here, even if I were to reimagine a way of being able to put the blow-off valve in here with a little support underneath it so it doesn't fall all the way through, and then even making two of them, one for each fermenter, I could do that as well. So those aren't things, the tool shelf and the blow-off valve wasn't initially in my thought process when I was kind of putting my ideas to paper, but that's something that I would really like to do. Again, it's one centralized location for your tools. You're not running over here, you're not running over there, you're not running over to the sink, you're not running somewhere on the shelf. One centralized location for all your fermentation tools and your spray bottles and your blow-off tubes and everything like that, and you're ready to go. What's up, guys? I'm already off to a really, really smooth start to this process, and I was really excited about it. I just went to Lowe's, and what I got was I got a 2 foot by 4 foot piece of plywood top. It was like a glued together top. I had them cut it down to 2 foot by 3 foot for me. I got two 2x4s by 8 feet long. I was able to get those. And then I got a 4x4 piece of pressure treated, which is all they had, times 8 foot long, that I used for the legs. I got 4 casters, and I got a can of the plastic dip spray for the waterproofing of the top, and some screws. That whole thing set me back just about $100. I'll go over the cost at the end. Could very easily have been 60 bucks if I didn't want this style casters. But anyway, let me flip this around. So I initially didn't film this part of the ripping of the wood and measuring, one, because my mom ended up giving me this sort of miter saw a little bit ago, and I haven't used it so much as to be, you know, perfect with all of my cuts, which is why I did X, Y, and Z. But so I was able to use my 2x4s times 8 feet, so 16 foot of 2x4s, and this is my waist. I really think that's pretty good measurement and wood selection. And then out of my 4x4, I ended up not going with 2 foot legs. I went with 1 foot 10-inch legs because the casters are 3 inches. And I wanted to give myself a little bit of leeway in case some of my cuts may not have been perfect, and I didn't want to go exactly 2 feet and leave myself no room for error. But this chop saw is awesome. I have it unplugged. But this 4x4 fit right in there, and I was able to do my big cuts like very easily. I was really surprised at how well that whole process turned out. So now I have all the wood already transported down to the basement. All I need to do is start drilling my pilot holes and framing up, you know, parts of the workbench. So very cool. I'll clean this shit up after we're done in the basement. Tabletop, the front and the back, side, middle support. I did just realize that I don't have a 3-foot section cut for the bottom support. I only have 2 sides supports cut right now. I do have extra 2x4s in my garage for another project I was planning a long time ago. Oh, and look what I found. Look what I found right here. Look. Let's see how long this is. You gotta be almost shitting me. That's almost perfect. So I might just take this and just use a saw. Perfect. Anyway, nonetheless. So that's my entire body. Here are the 4 legs. The casters and the waterproof are still in the car. I'll grab those before we put them on. Okay, it's basically the top of the bench framed in. Yeah, it's gone surprisingly smooth. I don't even want to talk about it, like a no-hitter, knock on wood. What's really nice about these screws is it came with their own star bit, kind of same shape as the heads of the screw. But what's nice is if you're not gonna drill the pilot holes, it's almost got like this self-tapping sort of screw head to it, which makes kind of going into the wood without it splitting really nice. You can see how tight the spirals are. Get a little coarser up towards the end. I'm not quite sure. I have some heavy-duty nails that I may secure the top to the frame with nails. And honestly, that's what I have here in this workbench, and it's worked all these years. It's gonna get coated with this plastic dip spray anyway, so I don't even think you're gonna notice it. But yeah, I'm gonna try to figure that out real quick. Basically plastic dip, multi-purpose rubber coating. And I've used it on a couple of different products and it's awesome. Let's see, it says Peelable, easy to remove from multi-surfaces when you're ready. Flexible, insulates, grip, durable. It's awesome. So comes in like, I think red and gray and black. I figured black. Now I'll let this set for a little bit. I got my ventilation going. I'll let this set for a couple of hours, see where the thin spots are. I laid it on a little on the heavier side. There's a little scrape there. No big deal. I'm sure the feet of those fermenters are gonna scrape it up a little bit too. So sort of to wrap this up, we needed the lumber. An idea of what you wanted to do, go get the lumber. A cordless screwdriver with a bit to initially drill those pilot holes. But once I got started with that, I realized that these self-tapping screws didn't really need a pilot hole. I really did use a lot of the screws. This was a 60 count. So again, I'm not wasting a whole lot of money. Hammer with the nails, the casters, which are on, the plastic dip, a pencil, a tape measure. That's about it. And really the want to do something like this again. See if I can set this camera up here. So, I mean, overall concept, like I said, concept sort of development all the way through to having the free time to going up to Lowe's and having it done. It's 3 o'clock, and I purchased the materials from Lowe's at, does it say when? At 12:30. It's 3 o'clock right now. So I was able to get home from Lowe's, make myself a sandwich, put this whole thing together, and already put one coat of the plastic dip on the top of the fermenter table in under 2.5 hours. I think that's not bad. Like I said, the grand total for this build was $93. A couple of the things I think we could, or you could if you really wanted to do this, was if you don't want the casters. So the casters, where were the casters? The casters end up setting me back $6.98, so just shy of $28 total, $7 a piece. If you wanted to get the same casters with just a different type of locking mechanism, that would have knocked it down to $6. You'd save $4 right there. If you wanted casters without any brakes, those were $4 a piece. So you could knock times 4 off of my $28. You could knock $12 off of that. So you're already going from 93 to like $80 for this table. Besides that, I mean, you don't have to plastic dip it. That's $7. You can give or take there. You don't have to get this exact set of screws. What were these screws? $9.98. That's not really $9.98 for pretty much all of the screws that I used in this project. They were that self-tapping thing with the bit that comes with it. It really did make my life very easy. They were really easy to kind of screw into place. All you kind of had to do was kind of keep them level, not off on an angle, and they really took care of the rest. You didn't have to put hardly any effort into getting those secure. I was really happy. You saw how much wood I had left over, so I was happy that I didn't have to buy a whole lot of excess wood and have it go to waste. That's about it. I mean, I'm super happy with the way it came out. In all honesty, I probably am going to go ahead and get another can of this plastic dip and just hit the whole thing up with like a black sort of spray paint color. I'm not quite sure about the pressure treated sort of wood, and I'm actually a little upset that I have to put the pressure treated indoors, even though it's in the basement, but I'm gonna look that up. You know how it is. So this was the only thing that was available. So yeah, I'm really happy with it. I'm gonna let the top cure. I'm going to transfer the kegs over after that. And I still have the front little work shelf to work on. But you guys don't, I mean, you don't really need to see me do that. It's still up in the air whether I wanted to do that or not. But I got the whole main thing done under 2.5 hours, one day, little build, bye-bye. I hope you guys enjoyed a little look into what keeps me busy in the basement. You know what I mean? So I hope you guys enjoyed it. I'll see you guys in the next one. Cheers.